Hi everyone, this is Steve and I want to welcome you into our first video inside the Oregon Leadership Academy Measurable Skill Gains online course. And I'm so glad that you'll be joining me for the 6-hour experience. So what I want to share with you inside the course is things that, man, I sure wish I had known these back in 1992 when I first started teaching adult basic skills at College of the Albemarle years and years and years ago. And a lot of this is really based on the thoughts, too, of Dr. Randy Whitfield, who was our state director in North Carolina for years. And I can still hear her saying, ringing in my ears, you want to improve your program's performance statistic, improve the quality of instruction in your program. And certainly as a program director and as a lead instructor for 18 years between both of those jobs, that really set my marching orders in place. I really worked very hard to improve the quality of instruction in the program that I worked in. And so I did see that. It was very true. And I worked to make our instruction the best possible instruction it could be. I did see an increase in our performance statistics. It is very, very true. And we're going to focus, especially early in the course, on reading, because reading is such an important skill. Many of our students have gaps in their reading knowledge, and reading will help them certainly not only if they're taking a post-test on the CASAS reading goals, but certainly if they're taking a post-test on the CASAS math goals. But of course, more importantly, our job isn't to get them a high score on CASAS. Our goal is to build their skills so they'll be a greater success in the workplace, in the community, and in life is really, of course, our big goal for all of our students. But I firmly believe that if we can improve the quality of instruction in our program, we will achieve those measurable skill gains that we're hoping to get. A lot of what I'm going to share with you is based on an initiative I've been part of since 2008, which is Student Achievement in Reading, also known as STAR, which is done in many states across the United States. And basically what the fundamentals of STAR is that we can assess the 4 components of reading. We can find out where students' skills are in alphabetics, in fluency, in vocabulary, and in comprehension. We can assess all of those 4 areas. And in addition to assessing those, we can provide direct instruction in each of those areas as necessary to help our students improve their reading skills. So that's a lot of what we'll do early on in the course. We'll also talk some about math instruction at the end, and also do some sharing with program improvement plans, the PIPs that you submitted back in October. So I'm going to ask you to do something first, which may sound a little strange, but there is a purpose to it, and please do it. Please, please, please do it. I'm just going to ask you in just a minute to pause this video and do this activity that I'm going to ask you to do. Well, Steve, what are you going to ask us to do here? Well, let me share my screen here so you can see what I see. I'm going to ask you to build a house of cards here. And you can see here a small one. Essentially, you're going to try to stack cards as high as you can. If you're feeling very adventurous and have a lot of cards, like over 1,000 decks, you could go for the world record, which was almost 26 feet tall. You can see that here. A gentleman named Brian Berg built that some years ago. There are rules associated with this activity, however, and one is that you cannot cheat. In other words, you can't bend the cards, you can't use paper clips, you can't buttress the cards against something else. It has to be freestanding, no tape, none of those things. So please go grab a deck of playing cards. If you're at home, that should be easy. If you're at the workplace, maybe try to find some index cards or something else that can stand in for a card, maybe cards from a board game or whatever. And go for height. Try to build the tallest structure of house of cards that you can with your deck of playing cards. Take about 4 or 5 minutes to do that. So pause the video. Thank you. Pause, and then we'll resume in just a minute. So hit the pause button. Thank you. Okay, I'm assuming you're back now and that you paused and built the house of cards. What I'm expecting that you experienced was maybe you built 1 level, or maybe you built 2, and then they're going to fall to the ground. And that's happened. I've tried this activity a number of times, and every time I did it did not work. So what I want you to really remember is the frustration that you felt as you tried to do this activity. It was just, you built it, it fell down, you're frustrated. We tried to do this thing and it didn't work. So remember the frustration that you're feeling now. And I'm going to ask you another weird question. And the question is this: what do your cards say? You look at me funny saying, well, Steve, my card says, ace of spades, or, two of hearts, or whatever. But I want to show you my cards. My cards do say something. And so here they are. My first card says alphabetics. My second card says fluency. My third card says vocabulary. And my fourth card says comprehension. So what I tried to do here in this activity was to show you that a student's reading house of cards, if we can use the metaphor there, their reading house of cards stands on these four areas: alphabetics, fluency, vocabulary, and comprehension. It stands on these four areas. If they're lacking in one of these skills, their house of cards is going to tumble. So that's really the object lesson. Remember that frustration. And you have students in your program. You may have students that have been in there and sat in your program for 10 years, 12 years. They never seem to make progress. They're always there. There is a reason for that. And we can figure out, if you're willing to invest the time and give them a specific assessment in alphabetics, fluency, vocabulary, and comprehension, which takes an experienced assessor could assess all four of those areas in about 45 minutes. This isn't using CASAS. This is using specific diagnostic assessments inside these four areas. You can really find out what's going on. Because with our intermediate level students, as you see in the course, those from grade level equivalent 4 to 9, many times they have multiple areas in there that are lacking. They may have missed 4 months during the second grade where some of these things were taught, or in the first grade, or whatever, and they never developed those skills. So each of these four components of reading instruction, alphabetics, fluency, vocabulary, and comprehension, they all interrelate. If I'm reading something and I'm spending all my brain power trying to decode words, it's really going to impact my ability to comprehend or to understand what I read. And in that situation, my alphabetic skill, so having such difficulty trying to decode each word, that's going to impact my ability to read with understanding. As a young instructor, I thought every student who had a reading issue was a comprehension issue. I realize now that's not necessarily the case. Sometimes we do have students that have just comprehension specific issues, but many times the answer lies somewhere between alphabetics, fluency, and vocabulary. They have a weakness in one or more of those areas, and it affects how they do in the others. So these are all very important skills, and if students lacking them, they will not be able to read with understanding. So I look forward to working with you throughout this course. Again, if I can help you in any way as we go through, you have my email, give me a shout. I'm happy to help you anytime. We can set up an appointment to talk by phone, video, whatever. But thank you so much for taking this course, and I look forward to working with you.